streaming to you from the heart of the bluegrass. Produced by the University of Kentucky College of Engineering. It's Engineering Live. Now let's meet your all-star cast of College of Engineering students. Chris, Auburn, Michael, Edward, Ari, Jill, Dumaybe, Brittany, Raven, and the Assistant Director of Recruitment, your host, John Roberts. Tonight's show will feature guest appearances by two student organizations, the UK Formula and Solar Car racing teams. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Engineering Live.
Welcome to Engineering Live with UK's College of Engineering. My name is John Roberts and I will be your host tonight. Happy Monday. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. We've got a great show lined up for you all. We're going to talk to some of our current engineering and computer science students to talk about life as a UK engineering and computer science student. We also have special guests with Formula Kentucky and UK Solar Car team. They're going to talk to us about their organizations, and they're also going to talk to us about their designs as well. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming for you all tonight. We're going to go ahead and jump into our first topic, which is our living learning programs, as well as living on campus. All right, well, first panel, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We're super excited to have you all. Prospective students are always interested in living on campus. There is great benefit in students living on campus, and that living and learning program, as you all know, is super beneficial. And so that's where we're going to start off tonight. So how did living on campus enhance your undergraduate experience? Raven, we're going to start with you.
All right, so for me, I'm a fifth-year civil engineering student, so I've been on campus for quite a while. I lived on campus for my first 3 years, and 2 of those were in the LLP. I would say it definitely has enhanced my experience. Coming from out of state, it was a little different. I didn't know anyone. Living in the LLP allowed me to meet some of my best friends and people that I'd be in class with for the rest of my time at UK.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with Raven. So I'm a junior here in civil engineering, and I've lived in the LLP for all 3 years, and now I serve as a peer mentor. And coming from a hometown of about 400 people and not even a stoplight, living in the LLP really allowed me to find that sense of community with others and to feel like I was at home and to have others who are supporting me and really get that support system that really helps you lead to success at college.
I'm also a junior in chemical engineering, so I think that living on campus, specifically in the living learning program, allowed me to develop such good study habits, such as going to my professor's office hours and TA office hours, because your classes are right in your dorm, so you can just go downstairs and have all of those resources available for you.
Excellent. And so Raven, knowing that you're from Michigan, Megan Howard, who's also from Michigan, is joining us tonight. So hey, Megan, thanks for joining us tonight. Being that you've had that out-of-state experience, we'll start with you again. How did living on campus help UK make it feel like home quicker for you?
Well, I'd say definitely having a peer mentor in the LLP. She greeted me as soon as I got to campus. She was the first person I knew. She helped me find a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten into since I've been on campus. So being an ambassador, now being a peer mentor. So definitely meeting people and learning about different organizations that we have on campus have made me meet more people and get acclimated well.
Yeah.
And jumping into that, because I'm from Chicago, so I also didn't know a lot of people going in. I loved living in the living learning program because it was all the same people in all of the extracurriculars and all in your classes and in your dorm, so you just kept seeing all the same people over and over again, and they were all at the dorm events, so there's so many opportunities to make those connections and make even deeper relationships.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with Jill on the events that the LLP hosts. So like every Monday or Tuesday night, there's an event going on in the LLP, whether that be community connections or like social gatherings, and that really helped me find my place. But another thing that helped me was really the office hours in the dorm as well, because you got to connect with the professors even from move-in day. I remember coming in freshman year and the associate dean was there helping me carry in my shelf, and I got to meet some of my professors, and just seeing that experience and how invested the professors were really showed me the community UK has from day one.
Yeah, excellent. Shout out to Jaron Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, as well as Ryan Wood. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's great to see you all here on the broadcast. Peer mentors are super important as well. It's another great layer of support that we offer for our students. And so, what has been your experience with peer mentors, and how was that beneficial to you all as you all started?
Well, I love my peer mentor. She had, like, I first got to campus, went into my dorm room moving in the first day, and on my desk I see Candy and a note, you know, this is me, I'm your peer mentor, you know, nice to meet you. We met her later that day at a meeting, and ever since then she's been a really good friend. She's who got me into being an ambassador. She was also the same major as me, which is something that the LLP does. They try to provide you somebody who will know what kind of things you're going to go through as you go throughout school. So she has always been a resource for me. I mean, she's now a UK alum, so she's doing very big things now, and she's been an inspiration ever since.
I'll definitely agree. Me and Raven serve as peer mentors now, so we kind of get to see both sides of it, from us being a student and having that great experience with the peer mentor, and now being able to give back. And one of my favorite things to see is the students who were my peer mentor students last year, what they're doing now. So now they're in offices with Society of Women Engineers, or working on the solar car team, and it's been so neat just to see them grow and how they've found their sense of community.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and turn to, we've already got some questions coming in from our students, and so pertaining to the Living Learning program. So one of the questions that came in was, is it easy to meet people outside of the Living Learning program?
I'd say yes. I think if you put yourself out there and get involved in a lot of the other things that we have on campus, it's pretty easy. It may be a little, nerve-wracking at first, but I think once you meet the people in the LLP, then those people will also want to do things outside of the LLP, which would make it a little bit easier for you to do that as well.
One of the things that really helps is K-Week. So K-Week is a week before classes start in the fall, and that's real. You just get to get acclimated to campus. I remember my freshman year, we all went out on the intramural fields and played these like get to know you games, which at the time I thought was like, oh, how is this going to help? But I'll still see people now who I met during those games, and like one girl who I hadn't seen in like 6 years, I saw her there and I was like, wait, you're at UK too? And so just little things like that during K-Week really helped me to start getting out of my comfort zone and meet new people.
Absolutely. So are peer mentors assigned, or do you get chosen for that? How does that, can you explain that process and how that works?
Yes, peer mentors are assigned. They try to pair you up with somebody who's in the same major as you. So there may not be a peer mentor for every major. I think there currently are there are peer mentors for every major now, but they'll assign you a certain amount of students, and those are the ones that you take care of while you're a peer mentor.
Fantastic. So one of the cool things about talking about the Living Learning program, one of the cool things is currently our first year engineering classes are right there. Yeah, which is a neat component
so nice.
To that. So what is the most challenging part of the first year engineering program?
I think it's a whole new way to do school, because in college or in high school it was a lot of you did your work individually and you learned the material, then take an exam and move on to the next material. But for the first year engineering program, it's a lot of teamwork projects. So you have to learn how to communicate, how to delegate tasks, how to figure out what timeline you're going to be working at. So it's taking the knowledge that you learned in high school and applying it to new information, but also taking your knowledge of working with other people and applying that to projects.
Fantastic. So David Brown wants to know, so is the LLP like a dorm, or is it a community in the engineering majors?
The LLP is a community. It's definitely a community. It is located within a dorm, but it's not, everyone in the dorm is not in the LLP, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but like 90% of the dorm, I would say, is. So.
It's a place where you can live, but also find your community,
and
which
learn.
is the beauty of it.
Exactly.
Live and learn.
Fantastic. So Anna Erpenbeck, thank you for being here. Anna, we appreciate it. She wants to know, how did you decide which major to go into? Also, have any of you all ever switched between majors?
So that's actually where the first year engineering program, that's like what it's designed for. So one of the classes you take in the first year is to get acquainted with all the different disciplines, and you have to go to info sessions to figure out what that engineer actually does, what are some roles that people play in that, and you get to meet with faculty and current students and learn about that. So a lot of people go in not knowing what they want to do, and through this program they get to learn about that. So that's the whole reason for first year engineering.
Yeah. And it's really nice that you don't have to declare what type of engineering until the end of your freshman year.
Yeah.
And for me, choosing my major, there wasn't like a light bulb moment. It's kind of just been like a process. So I know that I want to do something like more business oriented as well. And in high school, I worked at an engineering firm, and the owner had created his own business, taught me about how he started the business from him and just one other guy to now over 30 employees. And I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, but I still didn't know what type of engineer I wanted to be. And then as I went through my classes and I did statics, I was like, wow, I love this, you know, like, and so that's kind of, it was just kind of a process of saying, oh, civil engineer is my home, you know, and it wasn't just a light bulb, but kind of you learn along the way.
Sure. Harry Custer wants to know, what have you done through UK engineering that you are proud of?
I would say stuff like this. Whenever I was touring in high school, I saw the people on the brochures or giving the tours, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to do something like that. And so really just being able to get up here and give back to students. And I had one girl tell me, she was like, I'm coming to UK because you helped me and I shadowed you for a day.
Yeah.
And like getting to see that and like the smiles on their faces, that makes it so worth it.
Sure.
Kind of off of that, being a peer mentor this year for the first time, but being an ambassador for so long, one of the students that I had shadow me last year is now my mentee for the peer mentor.
So
So
awesome.
it's kind of cool. I get to see him, you know, kind of just come from being a high school student, and now he's transitioning through his first year of college. And it's just really, it's empowering for me to see him like succeed.
Definitely. Also, I remember when I was going through the college process, all these students were talking about projects that they were working on, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so advanced, like I'd never be able to do that. So I think a really cool moment for me was during the first year engineering program when our team built the material sorter. So we had to like 3D print a machine that would read different materials on chips and sort it into different bins, and being able to look back at that and see all that we accomplished and telling other people about that. Like I did that in my first year, when a year ago, like I couldn't even imagine being able to create something like that. That was a really cool experience for me.
Fantastic. Jacob, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We appreciate you being here, as well as Jonathan Beckwith. Denny Dixon has a question. He says, how does the college engineering homework system compare to a high school mathematics curriculum?
Okay. You want to start?
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the class. Your first year, it's going to be pretty similar to a high school situation where you'll get weekly homework. A lot of it's online, which is nice, so you can, you have different solutions, but you can do it multiple times to make sure that you're getting the concepts done. But it's pretty similar that you just have homework over the concept that you're learning that week, and each week you get a new assignment.
The big thing for me was that you got 10 tries to like get it right, because I was like worried. I was like, I'm not going to be able to get it on the first try. But it was nice that they let you work through it without penalizing you, because that's what homework is. It's to learn.
Exactly.
So.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. It's been great conversation so far, but we want to go ahead and jump into our next topic, which is student organizations and student involvement. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into meeting with our Formula Kentucky team, so that way we can talk about their organization as well as their design team. So we're going to go and meet with them right now. Okay. All right, so with me we have Luke and Formula Kentucky team here, and so we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about their organization and what they do. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It's great to have you all. First off, can you just share with the audience what you all do and what it is that Formula Race Car is all about?
Yeah, so Formula Kentucky is the Formula SAE team here at UK. We compete against teams from all over the world. So what we have here is FK03, which is our third competition car. It's a tube frame chassis, carbon fiber body. We've currently got the rain tires on. We usually have big wide slicks.
Mm-hmm.
So what it is, it's an engineering competition as much as it is a race competition. So we have to design and engineer everything on the car from the ground up.
Fantastic. So exactly how fast does this car go?
So I've been in it when we're going about 65.
Okay.
And I felt like that was outrageous, but it'll actually do, I think, about 98 is the drag limited number.
Fantastic. It sounds like you all have done a lot of competitions in a variety of other places. So can you share with the audience some of the different places that you all have had competitions and races?
Yeah, for sure. So we took this car to Lincoln, Nebraska in 2018. We took this same car with some minor modifications made to Michigan, which is Brooklyn, Michigan. It's the NASCAR track there, Michigan International. So we've competed in Nebraska and Michigan, and we've been to Kennesaw State in Georgia. So we've been down there and competed with them. It's not a sanctioned competition, but it's just something we kind of done down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, thank you for joining us tonight, Ben. He wants to know if there are specific engineering majors that can participate in Formula Kentucky team, or is it anybody who wants to join and learn and help?
Well, oddly enough, actually some of the guys that we have here, we've got mechanical. Chemical is the STIG here. Electrical and mechanical. So the majority of the team is mechanical engineering, but we have mechanical, electrical, chemical, biomedical. We have pretty much every engineering discipline on our team. For the most part, the design goes to mechanical engineers, though.
Okay, fantastic. Austin Hart, thank you, Austin, for joining us tonight. And he wants to know, why did you choose carbon fiber?
So for the body, we chose carbon fiber because of the weight and the structural rigidity that we get from it. So this is our aero lead here. Actually, he's in the process of designing a carbon fiber under tray that'll help us get some downforce.
Okay. Jacob. Thank you for joining us, Jacob. He said that he's been following Formula for a while. Last year at a competition, there was a problem with suspension and tire wear. Has anything been tweaked?
Yeah, so that was at Lincoln. We actually we tore the tires up pretty good. So that was a really hard surface, really rough surface, and we were using tires that were made for road racing, so a little bit more kind to the tires than what we were actually getting there. So we came off track. We had our camber set wrong for what we should have had, and we had the toe setting wrong on the car. So what we've done is a lot of research into tuning the suspension so that we don't have that problem again. Justin built the bearded wonder here on the end. Justin built some plates that help us set our toe pretty accurately. So we have a better toe setting now, and the camber is set much more accurately now as well.
Okay, fantastic. So for going kind of back to what Ben was asking, how would a student go about getting involved in Formula Kentucky if a student was interested in doing that?
Yeah, so if a student's interested, we're actually open to any major. We have a business team that we can put pretty much anyone on if you're interested in cars. But as far as engineering majors, we'll send out a listserv email at the beginning of each semester. We have that sent through the college, so everyone is open to attend. We'll have information, we'll have a Q&A session, and then from there we'll put you into a system and you can start working on minor projects for the car and then move into working on more complex projects for the car.
We have another question. How long did it take to form a model for the car?
So we are currently in the process of making a 3D model for our next car, and we've allotted from this time this year. We've just started on the modeling, and we have a design freeze set for October 25th of next year. So it's about 10 months.
Okay, fantastic. And for anybody that wants to learn more about Formula Kentucky, I know you all probably got social media, website, that kind of stuff. So where would a person go to find more information about Formula?
Yeah, so all of our social media is at Formula Kentucky.
Okay.
We actually have it on the side of the helmet here. I don't know if you can get in and see that, but we tried to plug it there.
There you go.
We're at Formula Kentucky. You can reach us you can send us a message there on our social media, or you can send us an email. It's formulakentucky@gmail.com.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We're going to go ahead and transition to our next student panel so we can continue the conversation about student organizations and student involvement. All right, so we're back with a new student panel. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It's really great to have you all here. So getting involved is, like, in my opinion, one of the most important things for students to do when they get to a university, because it's a great way to find your people, quote unquote, your community, and it's a great way for students to really integrate into the university. Fortunately for all of us, the University of Kentucky has 500 plus student organizations. We also have 500 plus student organizations at the University of Kentucky and 45 plus student organizations at the College of Engineering. And so there's a lot of opportunities for people to get involved and to find their community. So to start off, what are some of the organizations that you all have got involved with since you all have been here at the University of Kentucky? Maybe we'll start with you.
So, since I've been in the University of Kentucky, I've been part of the National Society of Black Engineers. And this organization is very special to me because I got to form stronger bonds with upperclassmen, and they were able to mentor me and advise me about the classes I'm taking right now. And we also create outreach activities that will be able to reach out to high school students and support those that are interested in engineering before they come into campus.
So yeah, one of the things that I got involved in as a freshman that I'm actually the president of now is AIAA. So that's the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics Club here at UK. It's a mouthful. But so what we do there is we'll get guest speakers, we'll do fun aviation related events. We actually go out and fly drones, kind of as a subsidiary sort of the drone lab.
Sure.
And so one of the recent events that we've done is gone to GE Aviation in Cincinnati. So we actually spent the whole day there and toured the factory. So that was a really cool experience, especially for people who are interested in aviation.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Follow-up question to that. Do you all actually design your UAVs?
Not as a part of AIAA, but as a part of the drone lab, yes.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
So one of the organizations I actually joined was in my sophomore year, which is Tau Beta Pi, which is actually the Engineering Honor Society. So there's a certain requirement that you need to meet to get in, but if you get in, it looks really good on your resume, and you also perform lots of outreach activities. Such as one example, last year I actually got to go back to my old high school, and then in my old high school, the program that I was in, we actually had to do a 360-hour capstone research project, and then from there we had to present it at the end of our senior year to a full audience of other classmates and other peers. So basically I got to actually go in and actually judge one of their science fairs, which I really think was a really cool thing, just to do something that I was in the shoes of them a few years ago myself.
Yeah, would you mind to share with the audience the kind of research that you did?
Yeah, so the research project that I did was actually the effects of different types of backpacks on students. So basically what I did was in high school, we all had labs in our program, and then we all went to a different mentor, so it was a graduate professor. So what I did was I went to a biomedical engineering lab, and then we pretty much set up this outline for this experiment that we wanted to knock out in a year and a half. So basically we just brought subjects in who were willing to do them and then compensate them. So what they actually had to do was we wired them with accelerometers, which are pretty much these little orange squares that we taped around them. And then we put them on the major joints of the body, because what we wanted to do with that was actually have the subjects perform various activities, such as bending over, sitting down, walking upstairs, and then just seeing how those joints would react to those various movements. And then from there, we took the data into a computer, and then we looked at the different joints and how they rotated for each task. And then we got a lot of different results, actually. We used two main types of backpacks: an ergonomic hiking backpack, which distributes the load across the back, and then also a point load backpack, which is like a normal school backpack. And ultimately, we found out that the ergonomic backpack is a lot better than the school backpack. And so more students should be using them, but it's not the case.
Sure, but that's a cool way to give back, so that students can then have those kind of experiences while they're in high school as well. So very cool. Real quick, Dane, hi. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's great to see you here on the broadcast. With that, so let's talk about how do you feel like that these organizations have enhanced your experience here at the University of Kentucky?
So these organizations is a way for you to network and meet other people that are also taking the same courses as you. The upperclassmen that have already taken the previous courses and now doing the same major as you. So it gives you that kind of like networking to different people and different resources and how you can do better in your classes, because this upperclassman will mentor you and you also can mentor freshmen that are coming in. So it's just a great hub for like knowledge to be passed through.
So one of the big things that AIAA has actually gotten me is it's introduced me to the drone lab. So that's a really unique experience here to have at UK. We have a great director of like all of the unmanned systems programs here at UK. Her name's Dr. Smith. She actually is like part of like, she's upper in their higher ranks of like NASA and stuff. So it's pretty cool to have somebody like that with connections. But the drone lab, we will actually build some of our own aircraft. But most of the time we'll buy like aircraft and then modify them. And what we do is we get turbulence data, and that is to figure out like, it's supposed to like help figure out like new ways to like measure like things for the Reynolds number. So to improve that with new data. So that's one of the things that we do. So one of the other opportunities that I've gotten to do with that is become like a drone pilot. So having my UAS license through the FAA is a pretty cool experience to have as well. And then that can actually get me some commercial opportunities in the future. So that's a great way for people to get into aviation. So very cool.
So something that my organization's engineering ambassadors in Tau Beta Pi have really taught me is that talking with other people who were once in your shoes is something that's priceless. Because I used to be in the same situation as them, and I want to like portray my wisdom onto them to like help them make the best possible decision. So as an ambassador, like we go out to like these recruitment events, and then our goal is to get as many of the people as possible to come to UK. So we basically just tell them like facts about UK and everything good that they need to know about UK. And honestly, a lot of these people actually do come to UK, and it's really cool for me personally to see a lot of these people that I helped recruit actually on campus.
So as a new student, what would be your advice for that new student in regards to figuring out how to get involved on campus?
I'd say get yourself out there. One of the big things to do is to do it early, and to do a lot of just like going to different club fairs. During K-Week is a great time. There's like all of the ones, there's tons of them during that first week. And so that way you can actually get some of those university programs rather than just like engineering. So it's a good way to branch out. In terms of engineering, there's an engineering club fair at the beginning of the year. That's a great way to get introduced to some of that. And then also just like any time during the year, like you see something and you get interested in it, you're like, you should just like look it up and figure out who's in charge and just go talk to them.
I'd say the most important thing is to find your niche. Find your group of people that you're going to be doing everything with, whether it's studying or like relaxing or anything like that, because those people are supposed to set you up to be the best possible person that you can be. If you're not hanging out with those people, then you're doing something wrong. So just find the perfect people for you, and then together explore UK. Like look at all the possible opportunities that there are, whether it's student organizations, clubs, anything like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, never hold yourself back, because you might attend some events and you don't see the people that really connect with you. But there are hundreds of organizations here on campus, and I'm sure that for every single person that comes on campus, there's a perfect one for them. And when you find that people that you can actually connect with, you'll be able to form lifelong bonds, and you would never feel alone on campus.
Great. So let's go ahead and turn to some questions from our audience. Philip. This is actually an academic question. Philip wonders, what is the difference between biosystems and mechanical engineering?
So that's for me. So I actually started out as a mechanical engineer from freshman year till halfway through sophomore year. So basically the main difference is it's more hands-on. So mechanical, you'll do, most of your stuff is going to be interacting with like the theory, how like the different data from like different projects interacts with how you change the design for that. Whereas biosystems looks more toward like actual like some more like practical like hands-on skills. So like in a couple of my classes we've done like tests on tractors, and we've actually gone out and put like a dynamometer on the engine and gotten to measure like the torque and horsepower and all that. So you don't get to do that in mechanical. Short story. Another fun class we get to do as biosystems engineers is BAE 599. So that's a class where we actually get to like weld and do machine work and a whole bunch of stuff you won't get to do in mechanical. So I'd basically say it's more hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also get like opportunities to work with outdoors kinds of things and farming and all that. So.
Excellent. Jonathan Beckwith wants to know, how do the students interact most commonly in the community in terms of, I guess, the engineering community? So how do you all interact the most with one another?
I'd say the LLP is basically the best starting point. So living together in Woodland Glen 3, the LLP is probably the best way to get a friend group started. You'll meet people, you'll meet your roommate, you'll meet your entire hall, then you'll just talk and then just like have a lot of common interests, and then you'll eventually find your groups of people, and then from there you'll even meet more new people, which is actually pretty amazing.
Cool.
One of the interesting things I actually discovered this year was the engineering tailgates. Whenever there's one of those, either for your department or engineering as a whole, I mean, that's a great way to get out there and just kind of like hang out with professors.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's kind of just an
Kind of
interesting way.
personal, out of the
Yeah,
classroom
exactly.
kind of experience.
Yeah, so it's a great way to hang out with friends, professors.
Sure.
Just it's a great experience.
Megan Howard asks, how easy/difficult is it to minor in something outside of the College of Engineering?
I don't think it's actually that difficult because the minors and the certificates that the College of Engineering offers is kind of intertwined with their major. So you wouldn't have to take double the credits, or you don't have to take, you have to extend your stay at college, because the minors and the certificates are actually, they're actually part of the, just a sub part of the majors. So it's not that hard.
Yeah. And we're really flexible in the College of Engineering in regards to the different kinds of minors that students can participate in. So it's not even just the engineering minor certificates that students have available to them. They also have all the other colleges that UK offer as well.
I've known students that have actually done, a few of my friends have done like music as a minor. So that's a
Absolutely,
perfect
yeah.
example.
I was going to say Raven, I believe, minor in dance, so she was just up here on stage with us. So absolutely, so that flexibility is really kind of important to us, because we really value engineering students and computer science students that are going to follow their passions, whether that's inside engineering or outside of engineering. I think we all believe that makes for really great engineers and computer scientists. So, Denny wants to know, any tips on being more responsible with homework?
Well, you have to pretty much, starting your freshman year, establish good habits. If you didn't have good habits in high school, freshman year of college is the best time. In college, you'll notice that it's not like straight from high school to college, like it gets like incredibly difficult. You kind of ease your way in, especially in the College of Engineering, and then that easing your way in is supposed to help you for your engineering courses down the line. So pretty much just do your homework, get good habits, get lots of sleep. That's really underrated and very important. And then also, if you need help, just go to your professor's office hours. They won't eat you. They're out there to help you. So.
Yeah, I'd say try to do it when it's assigned rather than when it's due.
Good point.
So night before is definitely not a good time.
Not suggested.
Yeah, procrastination is not your best friend. And also find some time to actually stress relief, because when it gets too much, you don't want to work when you're not at your best optimal level. So always stress relief and never procrastinate.
Fantastic. Well, I hate to leave this conversation, but we need to move on. So we're going to conclude this topic of student involvement and student organization with chatting with our UK Solar Car team. So I'm going to go to them live right now. Fantastic. So I'm here with Thomas and more of the UK Solar Car team here to learn a little bit more about their organization and the UK Solar Car team. It's kind of unique, and so we're going to get some more information here. So Thomas, first, share with the audience a little bit more about what UK Solar Car team is and what you all do.
Yes, so the UK Solar Car team has been an organization here on campus for the past 20 years, and over those years we've been designing, building, and racing fully solar-powered vehicles. So right next to us is the top shell of our current car, Gato del Sol 6. So everything you see on top is a solar panel, and you know that provides electricity with which we could drive, with which we can race. But more importantly, in addition to racing, we go to outreach events all the time. You know, we love going out to elementary schools and middle schools and just talking about engineering with students. You know, we love seeing just the joy that it can bring to help inspire a young mind. So
Fantastic. So your competitions are sometimes, or well, kind of not the average competition.
Yeah.
So could you explain to the audience how that works for you all?
yes, so we actually have two competitions. The first is the Formula Sun Grand Prix. It is a track style race that happens every year. We race for 3 days, 8 hours per day. What makes it unique is at the start of the first day, we're allowed to have a full battery pack, but after that, all of our energy has to come from the sun. So it's not about driving as fast as you can, it's about driving as smartly and as efficiently as you can. And then the second competition that we race in is the American Solar Challenge, which is a cross-country race that happens on public roads. So, for instance, we might be racing from Independence, Missouri this year to somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. So through that, you know, we get to race alongside other teams throughout the country, in addition to driving alongside normal cars on roads.
Right. So in regards to speed, top speed for the car is what?
Yeah, so we've had the car up to 66 miles per hour, but we could probably get it a little bit faster if we tried.
Cool. And distance, how far can this go?
So on a sunny day, we can go about 40 miles per hour forever. On a not so sunny day, we can still make it about 200 miles.
Yeah, cool. David Brown wants to know, how did you all wire the solar circuit, series or parallel?
So it's actually a combination of both. So the top of the car has 260 solar cells, or at least it did. We lost some during the race, as you can see there. But it did have 260, and of that, there are 5 separate what we call subarrays, and each one of those subarrays is composed of 52 cells in series, and then those 5 subarrays are in parallel.
Great. So what kind of engineering students, Austin Hart's asking this, what kind of engineering students participate in solar car? So what majors are you all?
Yeah, so we have members of all majors. The car itself is obviously a very multidisciplinary endeavor. We need mechanical engineers to help design suspensions and optimize the aerodynamics. We need electrical engineers to help figure out the solar panels and all of the battery systems. We need computer scientists to program all of the various sensors that we have on the car. You know, materials engineers to help figure out what sort of carbon fiber and materials to use, because our car does need to be as lightweight and strong as possible. So it's truly a team effort.
So kind of shifting gears a little bit, this might be a hot topic here, or a hot take. So Alex wants to know, how do you guys feel about the Cybertruck?
I don't fully know if I can give a great answer.
Okay.
I'm not totally convinced that it's not just a meme.
Okay.
It does seem like the sort of thing that Elon Musk would do, so I don't think we can rule it out.
Good answer. Okay, so JC wants to know that, JC says, I'm currently on my school solar car team. How would one go about joining the solar car program here at UK?
So the UK Solar Car team accepts members from all majors and no experience is required. So the fact that you already have some experience is definitely a big plus, but we take anyone and everyone. We truly do believe in helping our members, you know, learn the tools and skills that they might need on the team. So
that kind of overlaps with Shelley's question. What skills are needed in order to join the solar car team?
Absolutely none. Just a desire to learn and a desire to be part of a team.
Ben wants to know what kind of programming language is used when programming the car system.
So the car itself runs mostly off of C and C++, but we do also do Python and some JavaScript to help analyze data.
Cool. This question, more so for my curiosity, how do you think or feel that this kind of experience at the college level, how does that resonate to your professional careers?
So when you look at the world around you right now, there are very few engineering projects in the real world that are just a single discipline. You know, everything these days is going to have moving parts, is going to have electricity of some kind, is going to have something embedded inside it that needs to be programmed. So just the experience that we get with the team working in these multidisciplinary teams really does translate one-to-one to the real world.
Before we wrap up, how would someone who interested in UK Solar Car Team, how would they go about finding more information about you all? Social media accounts, website, how would they do that?
Yeah, so all of our social media is at UK Solar Car. You feel free to go to uksolarcar.com or email us at uksolarcar@gmail.com, and we are happy to provide as much information as you might want.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We're going to go ahead and move into our next topic, which is co-ops and internships. So I'm joined on stage by another student panel, so follow me and we'll get started. All right, we're back with the new student panel. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you all being here, so it's always good to have you all. So we're going to talk about co-ops and internships. So this is going to conclude our broadcast, and we're going to talk about this particular area that's really important in regards to getting that experience. It's applying what you've learned, and it is allowing you all to get that experience for your professional careers. So with that said, what kind of internships or co-ops have you all participated in, and which companies/organizations have you all worked for?
So the summer of my sophomore year, I worked for a physical therapy company startup. And we spent the summer, I was in a small team of 3 other people, and we were developing a virtual physical therapy treatment for Parkinson's patients. So that was really cool work. I'm really interested in medical technology. And then last summer, I spent in Cincinnati working for Northrop Grumman Zetron. They are a defense contractor, and I worked as a cybersecurity intern. So that's about as cool as it sounds too. It was really interesting work. And like you said, the internships were great because not only did I get to work on, I get to use the skills I've learned in college, in a practical setting, but I also got really good corporate experience, both in a startup and also an established, very much larger company. Getting that corporate kind of environment, getting used to that was invaluable to me.
Sure.
So for me, I worked at Cummins this past summer, and I was within the electrification business unit. And for everybody out there, everyone knows Cummins with diesel engines, right? But Cummins is transitioning to cleaner energy, so they're using battery packs and systems to power their vehicles. They're releasing an all-electric vehicle, an all-electric bus in 2020. I'm not too specific on the dates, but it was really great to know that I contributed to some part of that, working on the battery systems, the firmware, the hardware, just, leaving my mark on something that's going to be bigger than me. It was really great. But unfortunately, I had to shift gears, and so I got a return offer for next summer, but I had to turn that down because I picked up a new offer, accepted an offer with Microsoft. So yeah, I'm trying to move on to devices and hardware. So I'll be working with the Xbox team and the Microsoft Surface team.
Great.
Yeah.
Is that change, I'm curious, does that change more in line with what you want to do ultimately?
It was more
diversifying?
Yeah, it's kind of diversifying, but kind of centering on electronics, because that's what I primarily want to go into, electronics. And with Cummins, I did more software, and it kind of helped build some of my software skills. So now it's going to help when I apply it at Microsoft, because it's going to be a combination of hardware and software together. So it's the experience I've got from Cummins, it's undoubtedly going to help as I transition into a job position in Microsoft.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Yeah, seriously.
For me, this last summer, I got to work for Dow Chemical at one of their big plants down in Freeport, Texas. So I worked in maintenance in one of their utility plants, which was really neat. And then actually this spring, here in about 2 months, I'll be headed up to Ann Arbor, Michigan to work for Toyota in their crash safety department, which I am very, very excited about. I think will be very cool. And then next summer, I will get to work in Pennsylvania for Air Products, doing not sure what yet, but I'm very excited about that as well. So yeah. Also, I like what you were saying about diversifying and getting different experience. I think that's a cool part of doing co-ops and internships too. So I'm definitely excited for that and my future opportunities.
Definitely. Real quick, Emma, thank you so much for joining us tonight, as well as Tyler. I appreciate you being here on the broadcast. Brett, thank you so much for the questions and engaging. We thank you all for being with us tonight. So next question, how did you all go about finding these opportunities? How did that come about?
So for me, my first internship is actually, I have a pretty good personal story in this regard. So it was my sophomore year, spring semester, it's around April, and I was not planning on getting an internship. I didn't even have a resume at that point. And then after a pointed
Not starting out good here.
Yeah, no, it was not. I was not starting out good. And after a pointed conversation with my mother, I was like, okay, I need to get an internship. So I contacted Ilka Bulk, and she's kind of she's the director of the Career Development Center that the College of Engineering has, and she hooked me up. Like I met with her, we got a resume written, and she sent me 3 job offers for computer science interns in like a week. And within about 3 weeks of me not having a resume, not even looking for an internship, I had an internship plan for that summer. It was honestly crazy how quickly she was able to get me from nothing to hired. So it was incredible. And also we have our career fairs, which is, I think we have 2 every semester. And that's a really invaluable resource as far as finding internships, co-ops, because there's so many companies that come here looking for students to work as interns or full-times as a co-op or an internship. It's really great just how many you can check out at these career fairs. It's great. Yeah.
So kind of the moral of the story is, if you're willing to ask for help will be there.
Oh, you're gonna get it, especially in the College of Engineering, because Ilka will set you up really nicely. Yeah, but maybe do it a little earlier than April.
Be proactive.
Yeah.
If I could chime in, I think a good resource would be your student organizations. I would say my first internship, it was through NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers. And so it was kind of like a funny story, but we were going to our regional conference, and I had just opened up my computer and I was like, okay, let's go to Cummins' website. Let's see what they have on there. And I kid you not, I applied to about like 10 positions. I'm talking about like electrical, software engineering, mechanical. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just had to put my name out there, show interest, right? So on getting to like the conference, I got a text and it said, hey, I'm so-and-so, a recruiter from Cummins, and we see you applied to like this many positions. It kind of means you like have an interest in the company. Do you want to like schedule an interview? And I was like, yeah, sure. So it just progressed from that point. And I think the moral of the story is like just get your name out there, right? You know what you've done so far. Even if your resume isn't that great, even if you're coming in as a freshman, just put your name out there. Tell people what you have, right? Tell people what you can do, and the right person, the right companies out there looking for you. Just be ready to put in the time and the dedication, and
Yeah, exactly. I have a similar story. I've gotten my opportunities through the Society of Women Engineers and going to that conference every year. And a big thing that I learned through doing that is you have to put yourself out there. Like these career fairs are, especially at these big society conferences, are like 500 companies, thousands of people, and you might, you can get in there and look around and say like, God, I am one of thousands of people. These companies aren't going to pick me. I'm a sophomore with no experience. But until you put yourself out there and really talk to companies and do everything you can, you don't know what's going to happen. So you really you got to full send it and go for it.
Yeah. So Ben wants to know, how difficult would you say it is to get an internship / co-op, and what percentage of students that apply get one?
Well, I always say this: if you're in the College of Engineering and you want an internship or a co-op, congratulations, because you're going to get one. I have not, out of every single one of my friends I know, and everyone, and even people I'm not really close with, but just people I've talked to, everyone has gotten an internship or a co-op if they wanted one. It's just that, people want to hire engineers. You
Oh,
know,
sure.
we're not even graduating them as fast as like the market wants them.
Right.
So like our professions are all in very high demand, and that really shows in the job availability, job security, and also you know, our wages. Like, you know,
Oh,
we
sure.
make bank in these internships.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's great. Yeah, that's another thing you got to focus on.
Average, what did you make? Just curious.
Well, I know the average internship for a College of Engineering student wage is $20 an hour. I made a little more than that. not to flex, but you know, they hook us up in the defense contractors. But so $20 an hour. That's already like that's really good money.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I would say with that, you know, if you want an internship and you're going for it, you're putting in the work to get it. That's step one, and also step two, you have to be open to all the opportunities that are available. It's like for me, I came into college thinking, oh, I'm a mechanical engineer. I want to work in medical devices, period, done, that's it. So getting an offer from Dow Chemical, I was like, well, this isn't in line with what I thought I wanted to do. But by doing that, I've learned so much more about the industry, so many opportunities exist. And if you're not open to those, you're not going to be able to take advantage of them and all the things they can teach you. So you might have in your mind an idea of what you think you want to do with your life, but you really don't know until you try it out. So staying open to those also makes them much more accessible.
Absolutely. We're going to veer off topic just for a second because I want to address these. Shelley asks, as an African-American woman, can I join SWE and NSBE?
Yes, do
yes,
it.
Do it. Join everybody if you can. Just go to everybody. Like, there's no limits to how many organizations you can join. If you want to join SWE, by all means do so. If you want to join NSBE together with it, do so. Like, get your name out there, right? It's not going to hurt you to like be a part of as many organizations as you want to, because with those organizations you get more opportunities to go to these conferences, to have people who you can call like a community. So when finals roll in or like midterms roll in, a thing like NSBE does is we have like study tables, and we have kind of like a mentor-mentee program where we assign like incoming freshmen to like upperclassmen. So it kind of gives you this community, right? So regardless of what happens, right? Because everybody knows like getting internships, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities, but sometimes it may not come as soon as you want it to. But staying dedicated, you have people around you who can support you. So getting your name, putting like yourself in as many organizations as you can, regardless of, if it's SWE, NSBE, IEEE, ASME,
organizations not in the engineering college, like
anything
all
else.
of the above.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Brittany, that it's not just engineering organizations that students can get involved in. There's a lot of organizations at the University of Kentucky, so there's a lot of opportunities for students. And we do encourage students to seek opportunities outside of engineering as well. Brittany, can you speak a little bit more? Becca wants to know, can you speak a little bit more about the Society of Women Engineers?
Yes, so I have been a part of the Society of Women Engineers since coming to UK. Literally, I think I was already like signed up to their email listserv before I even got here. And it is a great organization that just allows you to form that community with women who are going through the same classes as you, who are older than you, that can, again, like Edward was saying, just lead you through your degree plan. And I've met some amazing women in my year that I get to, 3 of my roommates are in the Society of Women Engineers. So we had Friendsgiving at our house this last week. So we had over 40 girls in our house just eating Cracker Barrel and having a good time. And then also that mentorship aspect. So my internship that I got with Dow Chemical at that conference, I would not have even gone to talk to them if an older member in SWE hadn't told me to, because she worked with them the summer before that. And she told me, just do it. Like, I think they would love you. I think you'll be great. Go talk to them. Go, go, go. And so then I did, and here we are. So just some really awesome community that you get to form, and networking you get to do both within the organization and with professionals in the area, really across the country. Just a lot of great opportunities to take advantage
and I'm glad you all have highlighted that in regards to what it means for co-ops and internships, because I think sometimes that students don't think about that. Student organizations can absolutely lead to those opportunities. So not only do we have a rockin' career services team that can help you out, but there's also your own networks in these different organizations that can help out as well. Anna wants to know, have any of you all participated in study abroad? How do you feel that that's improved your engineering experience, and what did you do in that?
So I did study abroad. My summer of my freshman year, I was in a program in which 25 students, we all got to go to Germany, and we lived with host families for 5 weeks. We stayed in this little village, and then we would take the tram to a nearby university, and we would take Calculus 4 there. And that was one of the best experiences, not of just my college career, but of my life. I loved it. We only had class 4 days a week. And then on Fridays, we would take we called them cultural trips, but really it was just like a nice field trip. We get to travel around Germany. And we went to all these different cities in Germany. And then we also, we got the, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And, we would take trips. We went to Paris, we went to Strasbourg, we went to all over Germany, and we went to a bunch of different countries in Europe. And I made really close friends with people that I had never met before. Honestly, I only knew one other person on this trip. And then leaving, we're still a tight-knit group. It's been 3 years, and we still meet up and do stuff. We're still talking, and it's just nice to reminisce. And honestly, that was such a fantastic experience. I recommend it to everyone. Study abroad has been one of the best decisions I've made, for sure.
How do you think that experience has kind of enhanced your just personal life, professional life?
Well, one of the things we did is we traveled to a lot of German businesses sometimes, and we got to see, and so it's really good because you get to see kind of how an international kind of standpoint, because that might be very useful in the field later on. And also just from a cultural standpoint, it was just really enriching to kind of be in Europe, because Europe is so much older than America, and they have a lot of stuff that has existed longer than our country has even existed. So it was really kind of an eye-opening experience for me. Just in that sense, and it's really kind of enriched me personally as well as practically.
Yeah, sure. So switching back to a little bit more on the career focus side, I think you all have experienced this in your internships and co-ops likely. David Brown wants to know, when a student leaves UK, which you haven't left UK, but you all can speak to this in internships and co-ops. How do you think the experiences and classes translate into the workforce?
I would say a really great experience that we get in our classes here at UK is in our first year engineering program, in that design-based class that we have. I mean, as a sophomore looking for internships, that was my main point. I talked about it at career fairs and interviews, and it's just a hands-on design project where we create a material sorter from the ground up, and all the components involved. So that is great hands-on work. Plus, throughout all your classes, it's an important thing to make sure you're retaining all that information, and then as you do internships and co-ops and get to apply it, you really learn it on a whole different level. So I think that's a great experience to be able to pull into once you leave UK as well and get into the workforce.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that because my recent interviews at Microsoft, what really kept my interviews going longer than they should have was my senior design project. Right? Because it was the big day, and I was kind of nervous. So I had 4 interviews back to back, and it was the 3rd interview, and I was already I'd already lost all hope, because it was you know what, it's okay, I can find somewhere else to work. But that 3rd conversation, it was kind of extended, because I had a huge passion for my senior design project. So we kept talking about it. He kept probing to get more information to see how I thought about it. And when I got my offer, he was the one who was put in contact, and he said he greatly enjoyed the time, that everything else mattered, but seeing the way I was enthusiastic about what I've been learning in school, the practical things I'm learning, being able to see how I thought about the processes that go into manufacturing anything, right? Making a product from ground zero up to its final release, right? He said that was the thing that kept him, locked into what I had to say. So yeah, it's very key, because the things you learn here at UK, even though it seems a lot, right? It's always prepping you to keep the conversation going, right? You have a lot more to talk about, and when you go on to your full-time positions, you realize that even though you learned a general number of fundamental engineering information, you can center in on a few things. You don't have to go into a broad category of engineering. If you're mechanical, you can start to center in on manufacturing if you're electrical, you can start to like center in on like hardware instead of going into the power industry. But you get that, you know, fundamental once you're at UK. So it gives you a lot of flexibility and versatility outside.
Fantastic.
Yeah, to build on that, I kind of viewed, for me, it was the curriculum I've been through, all of that stuff really formed a very good base for the things that I would do in those internships, because when you're working like actually in the field, you know, you have very specialized work. Most of this time you're working on this one thing, like one project, and it's very specialized, whereas you know, a lot of the topics we cover in these courses are kind of general, but if you didn't have that good baseline, you wouldn't be able to build on it in such a way that you could apply yourself specifically to that one project. So it, you know, maybe you didn't cover, you know, this one thing in a class that you've maybe taken, but you understand how you can, you know, build upon it because of that general baseline that was formed from the classes. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, sure.
Agreed.
Yeah. So let's, we're running out of time, so I want to close out on this one question, which I think is an appropriate one to end it all on. What makes UK stand out over the other colleges in terms of the overall experience and provided classes?
I would say that your experience at UK is going to check all your boxes, even the ones that you didn't know existed. So that's part of the reason I came to UK, and part of the reason I've stayed and loved it, is that I didn't know that I needed people checking on me all the time to make sure I was okay, but it means the world when you don't know anyone and come somewhere and people are making sure that you're doing well. And you have that community aspect, you've got the school spirit aspect, as well as a huge alumni base of connections, opportunities while you're here on campus. I mean, just like everything you could think about being in college, UK checks that box, and I just am extremely grateful that it does.
Fantastic.
Exactly. It's like a sense of belonging, like the very first day you come on campus, right? You see everybody's like enthusiastic to like meet you. You start off with your peer mentors, your RAs, like from the dorms. You get like that feel of like UK wants you to be here, right? So it's that driving force that keeps you going, that, you know, that it's what like showed UK's commitment to me as opposed to any other college, because UK said, okay, fine, we're going to help you out. If you need like finances, we're going to toss you in with the scholarship committees. We're going to give you this many opportunities, right, to combat the financial like stresses of going to college, right? Is it the network you're trying to build? We have a lot of student organizations, and you get to meet them via like Campus Ruckus, right?
Yeah.
The very first week of K-Week, right? So it just shows like a lot of commitment on UK's part for you to be here, and that's what's really like stood out to me, and that's what's like kept me here so long and will keep me here till I graduate.
Yeah, to build on that, it's just I've really loved how UK, how dynamic UK is when it comes to the students. Like no one student's experience is the same. I feel like everyone kind of, they cater to, you know, making a unique experience for each student. Whatever your goals are, whatever your personal mission is, UK has kind of made it their goal to like help you achieve that, regardless of what it is. You know, like Chris said, you know, he has a couple friends that have music minors. You know, that's pretty far out there from engineering, but hey, they want a music minor, so all right, we're gonna hook you up with a music minor. We're gonna figure it out together. You know, I myself, as a freshman, switched my major 3 times. And, you know, I had no idea what I was doing, really. I was still feeling this whole thing out. But I was talking to my advisors, and they're like, look, you know, it's not a big deal. We'll figure it out together. And, like, just having all that assistance, like, them making the experience, you know, catered to me, it, like he said, like, it shows that their commitment to the student themselves, like, on an individual basis. And that's one of the greatest things about UK that I've really enjoyed at my time here.
I agree with all of that. All right, so we're out of time, unfortunately. It's been great conversations tonight. Before we sign off, thank you all so much for joining us and participating and engaging and asking questions. If you have any other additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can find my contact information on our homepage, our website, which is down in the comment section below. Feel free to email me. You can text me, call me. I'll be happy to answer any questions or connect you with any of the students that we chatted with today or the organizations that we chatted with today. So feel free to reach out to me. If you haven't visited campus before, we encourage you to do so. We have a lot of great opportunities in group settings, individual settings for you all to come and actually experience the College of Engineering at UK. So please come see us sometime. You can register for a visit on our homepage. Again, that website is down in the comment section below. If you want to learn more about our faculty, alumni, and students, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube to get some premier content about what's going on with us and our faculty, alumni, and students and what they're doing and the achievements that they've had and successes that they've had as well. There's a link also in the comment section for a survey. It's a quick survey. I know I created and took it myself. It takes about 15 seconds. And so I would just love to hear more about your experience with this broadcast, because we want to continue to make this better for prospective students and families as well. As a reminder, December 1st, that is the Early Action Scholarship deadline for the University of Kentucky. Time's ticking on that. So if you haven't got that application submitted, please do so before December 1st. With that said, thank you all again for joining us for Engineering Live. We really appreciate you all being here again. Happy Thanksgiving, and as always, go Cats.